What is going on, gamers? Aevatrex here, and today we are going to go ahead and do a pet review, and this go around it is going to be with Aviar. Now, I am a little bit under the weather, so if I sound a little bit off, it's because of that, but I'll try to get through this whole thing and explain everything. Now, this is a pet right here that a lot of people don't really talk about, but I feel is a very powerful pet in a lot of different game modes, not just one. So Aviar, let's go ahead and go directly to him. Mine's level 7, skill is only level 2. I'm still working on those skills, but essentially I'll go ahead and put a graphic right here on the right hand side that'll give you the breakdown of all the skill information all the way up until the very last level, level 8. But essentially at level 8 he has a 65% chance, which that 65% doesn't actually change, so it stays like that throughout. To deal pet attack damage to a random nearby enemy hero. Now, here's one quick thing that I want to point out regarding that statement right there. To a random nearby enemy hero isn't really random. From all the times that I've tested him out with waves and different heroes and whatnot, he seems to always proc on the nearest hero that is attacking the hero that this pet is with. So, it's not so much a random nearby enemy, it's more of the closest enemy to the hero that's being attacked. Now, let's go back to that. And it silences it for 1.5 seconds, which is mine at level 2, but at the highest level, it silences it for 3 seconds with a 4.2 second cooldown. So essentially, this hero can keep either a hero or a boss, etc. Silence pretty much all the time, minus a 1 second in between jump, which is absolutely freaking amazing if you ask me, because when you think silence, you think of an Ares proc, and that's exactly what he brings to the table. When he targets a hero, let's say a Skull Knight, even if the energy bar is completely filled, if they are under Nature's Spite, they are not going to be able to get that proc off. So that is very powerful if you ask me. Now, the next the important thing that I want to point out here is that it only has a 65% chance to deal damage and apply that silence when its hero is attacked. So that means that you don't actually want this hero or this pet on a hero that is going to be ranged for the most part. You want this pet to be on a hero that is going to be taking damage, like for instance a Golem, like a Skull Knight, a Dread Drake, you know, any sort of tanky hero that can take some damage and can take some hits and live. This is the hero that you want, you know, to have Aviar with them, because the hero has to be attacked for Aviar to actually proc. If you think about this in a way, when you have Ares, when you have Aviar, and also this can work in conjunction with the Garuda artifact, that is a lot of silencing that you can put in one team, and it can absolutely check a lot of things. So before we get into the gameplay, I do just want to mention that this is probably going to be one of those pets that is going to be really powerful at the higher levels, and at the lower levels it can make a bit of a difference, but not so much. So keep that in mind. Another thing that I have noticed with this pet is that sometimes, not all of the times, let's say if an Ares procs and then Aviar puts Nature's Spite on that hero, for some reason, I don't know if it's a bug or not, that hero is actually able to proc after Nature's Spite is over, even if the Ares proc is still on them. So I don't know if it's just overriding the Ares proc or not, but I'm pretty sure that's not supposed to be intended. So just keep in mind out for that. I wouldn't recommend you putting this hero with an Ares at the same time, because they seem to override each other. I don't know if they're supposed to or not, but with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into some gameplay and show you exactly why this pet is really powerful and where he'll come in really handy. And as a side note, for some reason this pet reminds me of this new Pokemon that's coming out for Pokemon Sun and Moon. I think it's a grass owl Pokemon, Rowlet. It's just, I mean, look at it. It's like, yes, it's the new Pokemon that's coming out. It's gonna turn into a ninja looking thing later on. Alright, let's go back into the gameplay. Let's go. Alright, so here I set a Drake with Aviar and also put in a Golem. These are both heroes that I thought, okay, they're not really gonna kill each other very fast, so I'm able to see what they can do together, how the procs go off. Now notice that not only is Aviar there in each one, but they also have the Garuda artifact. Now there are some instances where Garuda and Nature Spite is both applied at the same time, just like right there. But there are times where one stops and then the other one begins, and it's like a perfect chain reaction. And at one point, one of these heroes is going to get such a perfect chain off that it actually kills the other, just because there's just so much silence going on one after another that is just way too overwhelming. And this is what I was mentioning with the Garuda artifact and this pet. This pet is kind of just like an extension of the Garuda artifact, so you kind of want to use this pet the same way you would use the Garuda artifact. The only difference would be that you would want this pet to be on a tankier hero that can take those hits to activate. So here's the sequence that I was telling you guys about. So check this Golem out, okay? He's healing. Now he's got Garuda on him. Now the Garuda is gone. Now the pet is silencing. Now that that's gone, Garuda is back in play, and all this time Golem cannot proc. And then once you think he was gonna proc, absolutely denied by Nature Spite once again. And that was just a chain reaction where Golem was just hopeless. And that is a very powerful combination when you think about it. Now on this one, I want you to pay close attention to the heroes that actually come charging in. So here comes a champion and here comes a ninja, okay? Now he's gonna get that proc off and he's gonna start hitting everybody. Now notice that the closest one to him right when the proc goes off is Ninja and takes Ninja down. Now the champion is gonna go down, and the only thing that's gonna be there attacking him is going to be that paladin. So essentially now what's going to happen is that chain reaction with the Garuda and Nature Spite, there he goes. Now when you see that red exclamation mark on top of a hero or a boss, etc., that is Nature Spite, and that's the proc working. Now another thing that I want you guys to keep in mind is that take a look at the centaur that's coming charging at him. There is nothing hitting him but the actual towers, but the centaur actually gets silenced. So that means that when it says that your hero must be getting targeted, towers actually do set this proc off as well. It doesn't have to be any sort of hero or any sort of boss or anything like that. Towers themselves can actually make this proc go off, which can be very, very beneficial for Guild Wars if you plan it correctly with a Skull Knight or whatnot. To get a Skull Knight silenced right off the bat is absolutely awesome. Now on this one, I want you to watch the Grizzly Reapers that are in the back there. Now he is going to start targeting the champions, but keep in mind what I've been saying. When it says random target, it's not so much a random target as much as the closest hero to the hero with this Aviar pet. So these Grizzly Reapers have not been getting touched whatsoever so far until the champions are done, and then they're targeted. And I've run different simulations tons of times, and it's always the closest hero to him that gets silenced. Here's further proof of that. So we have a huge wave. Let's just say there's 20-30 heroes, but take a look at the one he's silencing. It is the Snowzilla. Not only is Garuda on him, but also the Nature Spite. So let me know if you've experienced anything else, but as far as I've seen, it is always the closest hero to him. So this Pet Aviar with Nature Spite and the silencing that it brings along, which further makes people think about different combinations with Garuda and Nature Spite and Ares proc and all of these silencing skills that are out in the game. Are you guys how exactly are you using Aviar? What I try to do is, like for instance in Lost Battlefield, I try to have Aviar in one team, my Ares on another, and then Garuda on my third team. That way I have I always have some sort of silence going on my teams. but like I showed you earlier, a combination of two silences like Garuda in Nature's Spite can be really powerful as well. It just adds to the dimension of different things that you might have to change to get better at different game modes. Like for instance, Here Be Monsters, this is a pet that's gonna make a lot of lives easier, just because that demon that has that deflect with an extra silence, some scatter, Garuda artifact, maybe an Ares proc, it's gonna be much easier to beat Here Be Monsters. But let me know if you guys enjoy this kind of review. The next one that I am going to be doing is going to be Little Havoc. More than likely that one will be out tomorrow. And another shout out to my man Rawtism for the thumbnail. He's killing it with this graphics. Amazing job. I'm gonna go ahead and leave the link to his channel down in the description. Go check out his videos and subscribe. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and until later, bye.